Hey guys, and thanks for tuning in today. Today I wanted to go through some information about the Smith & Wesson 500. The Smith & Wesson 500 was built on the largest Smith & Wesson frame. Now this is the X frame. They developed the X frame because none of the existing Smith & Wesson's double action frame designs could handle the muscle energy and pressures generated by the 500 Smith & Wesson cartridge. Now, the 500 Smith & Wesson cartridge, of course, you could buy 500 Smith & Wesson or 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. It's one of the most powerful production revolvers in the world today. It's being marked as being the world's most powerful handgun by the manufacturer, which is, of course, Smith & Wesson. Now, there is some other handguns, but they're not commercially available. The 500 is the most powerful handgun. Desert Eagle does make a 50 caliber, but that is a handgun and that is a semi-automatic, and it's not a Magnum bullet. There's a few large revolvers, like the Pfeiffer Zielska 600 Nitro Express revolver. However, these are custom-made revolvers from Austria, and they're not widely available in the continental United States. The Model 500 can fire a bullet weighing from 350 to 700 grains. The 350 grain bullet, it can fire at 1,975 feet per second. Generate a muzzle energy of over 3,030 foot-pounds. It is suitable for sport and hunting applications. The high energy of the rounds makes it possible to hunt extremely large African game successfully. The Model 500 ES, which is a 2.75-inch barrel stainless steel emergency survival revolver, is no longer manufactured as of December 2009. The Model 500 4-barrel stainless steel with interchangeable compensator. The Model 500 6.5-inch barrel half-lug stainless steel with porting. The Model 500 7.5-inch barrel stainless steel with the standard compensator. And then there's also the 500 8.38 barrel stainless steel with the standard compensator. Now the Model 500 High-Vis 8.38 barrel stainless steel also with interchangeable compensator. Now when you go to the interchangeable compensators, the 8 and 3/8 and the 4-inch barrel are the newer ones. There's also the Model 500 10.5 Lothar Walthen custom German rifle barrel matte finish stainless steel. Then we go into the Model 460 version, are chambered in 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum. There are some other variants available through Smith & Wesson Performance Center, like the all Smith & Wesson revolvers. Their custom variants are available in various production models. Smith & Wesson has been in the forefront when developing powerful handgun cartridges such as the 357 Smith & Wesson Magnum and the 44 Remington Magnum. However, since 1960, the company's 44 Remington Magnum, which had developed in partnership with Remington, was eclipsed by the 454 Casull. Since then, several other more powerful cartridges, where the Model 29 revolver was billed as the most powerful revolver. The 454 Casull, designed in 1955, was not in commercial production until the 21st century. With the entry of the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum and the Model 500 revolver, Smith & Wesson was able to recapture the title of the most powerful handgun and increased the sales. Smith & Wesson 500 was designed from the outset to be the most powerful production handgun. Smith & Wesson product manager Herb Benlin proposed the idea of developing the revolver and cartridge to the Smith & Wesson sales team. The ammunition was developed by Corban and Peter Pye in partnership with Smith & Wesson X-Gun engineering team of Brett Curry, lead design engineer. 11 months after January 9, 2003, the team unveiled the Smith & Wesson Model 500 revolver and the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum cartridge. The cartridge was designed from its inception to be substantially more powerful than any production handgun before. The Smith & Wesson Magnum was designed to fire a bullet of a diameter of .500, 12.7 millimeter, unlike the 500 line book, which fires a .510 in the 12.9 millimeter bullet. This was done so not is to run afoul of the National Firearms Act to be considered as a destructive device. So it was designed to fire .500 and 12.7 millimeter instead. The 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum had a maximum working pressure of 60,000 psi. However, most factory ammunition is limited to 50,000 psi to help ease extraction of fired cases. The cylinders of the Smith & Wesson 500 revolver are engineered to be capable of withstanding 50% overpressure. Regular proof testing load is performed with 20%. The cylinder bore is given as .500, 12.7 millimeter. This SAM recommends a 6-groove barrel with each groove being .130 inches. Several manufacturers currently manufacture Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum cartridge with some of the top performing rounds delivering 3,031 foot-pounds of energy with 350 grain bullet traveling at 1,975 feet per second. Reduced recoil Winchester factory loads for the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum are also available. Winchester's 544 Magnums, as they produce twice the recoil of a .44 Magnum cartridge. Corbon introduced the 500 Smith & Wesson Special in 2004 as a lower energy. The cartridge is also capable with handguns chambered for 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum and fires a 350 grain bullet at 1,250 feet per second. Sporting applications, normally the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum hunting load is a 500 grain by Hornady. There's a 500 Smith & Wesson 325 grain can be used for light CXP2 game species. Bullets heavier than 350 grain, including Winchester's reduced load ammunition, are appropriate for use with CXP3 game species. Bullets over 500 grain can be used for dangerous games, and Hornady's 500 grain SP load is rated for CXP4 class dangerous game by Hornady out to 200 yards against dangerous game and based on Hornady's Index of Terminal Standards HITS calculations. And once again, the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum is a really exceptional weapon. You can see here from left to right, the 700 grain bullet is on the left. The next one is the 440 grain, then followed by the Smith & Wesson 500, the standard one. And then we have the 50 Action Express and then the 45 ACP. So this is the, you can see the difference there. That's the 500, there's the 440, there's the 700. But these bullets are exceptional, and you can hunt with these. And for self-defense too, the gun is not that bad at all. You just need some kind of holster. But I would much rather have a 500 Magnum Smith & Wesson by my bedside than a 22 or some pea shooter or 45. That's for sure. You know, when you pull the trigger on that gun, you know, you'll stop any kind of threat that is in your way. But like I say, the nice thing about the 4-inch I like is that it is better looking and a little bit better to handle. But thanks a lot, guys, and I hope this was educational.